Welcome to SVGTV News for Tuesday, December 28, 2021. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. This country has recorded its first case of the Omicron COVID-19 variant in a fully vaccinated traveler who arrived in the state from the U.S. A release from the Health Services Subcommittee of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, on Monday said the fully vaccinated traveler arrived with a negative COVID-19 test and was subjected to further testing on arrival. The person has been isolated. The release said the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment was informed on December 27, 2021 by CAFRA of the COVID-19 sequencing results of positive samples collected from patients here on December 18, 2021, received at the CAFRA lab on December 24th and sent to the COVID-19 Impact Project lab on December 24th. The COVID-19 Impact Project lab reported on December 27th to CAFRA that the Omicron variant of concern B11529 was detected in one sample. According to the release, the sequencing results of samples sent to the COVID-19 Impact Project Lab for December 2021 suggest that the Delta variant is now the dominant variant of concern in SVG. Several partners and organizations came in for recognition from Governor General Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan in her Christmas message to the nation. The Governor General said the efforts and contributions made by all this year, including the government and opposition, is laudable.
The efforts of the government must be applauded, particularly for taking a pragmatic approach in the face of what could easily have been a chaotic year. The Prime Minister showed remarkable leadership and the courage in pursuing what he thought was best for the well-being of citizens. We must also show appreciation for the contribution made by the opposition in this national effort. We must recognize the invaluable service provided by community leaders, NGOs, development partners, CARICOM neighbors, the admirable efforts of the health sector, and those public servants and the scientists who have risen magnificently to many challenges faced throughout the year.
Her Excellency said that the volcanic eruptions and the pandemic brought out coping mechanism skills and thanked the people for rallying together through these difficult times.
The pandemic continues to bring much sadness with widespread pain and the suffering, the tremendous strain on the health sector, the loss of loved ones, and the many sacrifices we all have to endure. The entire nation has been faced with many hardships, frustration, and in some cases, a rift in relationships where there are differences of opinion on how hurdles presented by the pandemic can be overcome. The volcanic eruptions have certainly compounded many of these problems, but have at the same time highlighted extraordinary acts of kindness extended by fellow Vincentians at home and in the diaspora.
The Governor General also remembered those who are grieving the loss of a loved one and asked that persons be generous, especially with the vulnerable.
Let us care for family and spend quality time in service to the lonely, elderly, and the needy. Let us share our resources with the poor. This sharing is the true meaning of Christmas. To the students who have experienced serious disruptions in their education this year, be optimistic. I am hopeful that the situation will improve. I also hope that as we usher in the new year, we can all listen to and understand the voice of reason, truth, love, and unity.
In his Christmas Day message, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told Vincentians that as they look ahead to the new year, they should be good neighbors to one another and give each other a helping hand. PM Gonsalves also asked that people look closely to what his government is doing, noting that the 2022 estimates and budget will contribute in making life much better for everyone.
I'm urging you to listen carefully and study what we are doing. I want to say to you again, the estimates and the budget will contribute to making life much better for our people in the year 2022 and beyond. But each of us must play his or her part to the fullest extent possible. And let us not engage in useless bickering and pointless confusion. Let us put the senseless bickering and the pointless confusion aside and look out for ourselves, our neighbors, our village, our communities, our towns, our nation.
The Prime Minister reiterated the need for people to take the available COVID-19 vaccines, noting that it was during the Christmas-New Year's season last year there was a spike in COVID-19 cases in the country.
The government and the other public authorities, in concert with the people as a whole, have been working steadfastly to save lives and livelihoods. But a recalcitrant, selfish group of persons have been seeking to undermine the worthy efforts of the government and the bulk of our people. I urge all to take the vaccine now. It is good for you, your neighbor, your village, your community, and your nation, our nation. The vaccine is not the enemy. It is the coronavirus in all its mutations. That's where the enemy is. Meanwhile, it is necessary and desirable for all of us to put our shoulders to the wheel to assist in developing our country sustainably. We have been holding things together and we have been making much progress, and the future is bright.
PM Gonsalves said that now is the time that everyone should look out for each other and do so with love.
Demand more than ever a high level of selflessness and caring for our neighbors, and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and elsewhere. Everyone is each other's neighbor. Everyone is each other's neighbor. This idea of practical good neighborliness is to be embraced and elevated in this season of peace and goodwill to all men and women as we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. At Christmas, each of us must be a good neighbor. The command of God to love your neighbor as yourself has central resonance in the world's major religions, especially Christianity. It was one of the commandments delivered by God to Moses. In the New Testament, good neighborliness is everywhere extolled.
Over 100 persons displaced by the April 2021 volcanic eruptions spent Christmas in 7 shelters. These shelterees were provided with Christmas lunch by the UN agency, the International Organization for Migration, and the governments of SVG and Japan. Larissa Pugs-the-Kid tells us more in this report.
The shelterees were made at home even though they were away from their home this Christmas, as their homes were either damaged by the volcanic eruptions or, as in the case of the elderly, they have no one to take care of them. International donors, which include the International Organization for Migration IOM and the Japan government, ensured the shelterees had a delicious Vinci Christmas lunch. IOM's program coordinator, Jan Willem Wegdam, joined the shelterees for lunch at the Golden Years Center in Buchanan.
We got some ham, we got chicken, rice, vegetables, corn, and some spicy cake. So it's really yummy.
Shelter manager of the Golden Years in Buckerman said that it was a kind and welcoming gesture.
We are very happy that Japan and IOM and NEMO could sponsor the lunch. And that was one wish I had, that at least we could get lunch for Christmas Day, because it would have been very hectic for us as a staff to prepare lunch.
Some of the shelterees said that they are comfortable at the shelters, and while some miss home, others not so much.
I speak to them home not too long a while ago, and that's why I did not turn up at the same time when I was called. I was getting some greetings, which I got to left off some, so I don't miss home.
The government to help us to build a home for us that we can be more comfortable. And I mean, we are right here, but living in your own place, it is much more comfortable.
104 shelters remain at 7 shelters almost 8 months after the volcanic eruptions. Most of these persons are being housed at the Learning Resource Centers in Rillen Hill, Cattels, North Union, Bayaboo, the Golden Years Activity Center in Buckerman, and the Doris McKee Learning Resource Center.
This is for everyone a very special Christmas, I think, due to all the displacement in the different locations. But I wish you already for this year, for this Christmas, but also for next year, all the best, and that we all have a blessed 2022.
For SVG-TV News, Larissa Poxley-Kidd.
Point Village, which was one of the communities in the red zone north of the Rabuka Dry River on the windward side of the island, affected by the volcanic eruption, was adjudged the winner of this year's National Lighting Competition for the 9th consecutive year. The group responsible for the lighting up activities in Point is pleased with the win, noting that they faced many setbacks in getting the lights up just in time, as they were uncertain about participating in this year's competition. Larissa Poxley-Kidd tells us more in this report.
From ashes to lights, together we rise. That's the theme under which Point Village entered this year's community lighting competition, which it has won now for the 9th consecutive year after being adjudged the winner when the curtains came down on the National 9 Mornings Festival last Friday, December 24th, 2021. The rural village, located in the far north on the windward side of the island, was under volcanic ash for months following the eruptions of La Sofrea volcano. Despite some challenges, the Light Up Committee was, however, able to turn on the lights several days before Christmas Day, just in time for the judging in the Community Lighting Up competition, which saw a decrease in level of participation this year and hardly any cultural activities due to the pandemic.
I'm feeling very happy and proud, yes, because it was very, like a bit rush, because we most of the places that we normally get lights from, they get delay from, because they get them from overseas.
I wasn't thinking about lighting up this year, you know. As I told you, that man you call Mr. Bowman, he is all behind this lighting up. He's the one who pushed Point Massive. He's the one who always there and encourage us.
Up and so we reach where we reach today. So this is 9 years for us all.
Since it was announced the overall winner of this year's lighting competition, Point Village has been attracting a number of visitors.
Before, I didn't expect them to light up this year, but I saw on a friend's snap that they actually had the lighting up, so I decided to join out and come and support.
Member of Parliament for South Windward Frederick Stevenson was among the persons enjoying the lights Saturday evening, as he praised the Point Massive Group for the dedication to the Christmas festival, particularly the community lighting activity.
I normally take a drive out to Point to see the remarkable contribution and the display of the lights that the youngsters in Point do every Christmas. I want to compliment them. It brings a joy to the community. When you come here, everybody is happy.
Minister Stevenson said overall the participation in this year's lighting competition was commendable and spoke of the effort in his community of Bridgetown, which placed 3rd in the national competition.
Part of the lightings up, we have to remember that Jesus is the light of the world, and the reason why we are alive today is because of his grace and his mercies. It could have been worse, but God has been good to us as a nation and as a people. And we've risen again above the ashes, and we will continue to rise.
The lights displaying point will remain in place for a few more days until the new year. Persons are being encouraged to take advantage of the opportunity to visit the community and enjoy the lights. For SVG-TV News, Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
In other news now, the police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Leon Turtle Lee, a 35-year-old fisherman of Murray's Village. According to reports, the deceased and Jomo Poya, a 40-year-old workman, was residing in the same dwelling house, and on Monday, December 27th, about 7:15 a.m., an altercation allegedly arose between the deceased and Poya. The altercation resulted in the deceased receiving multiple chop and stab wounds to his body. Poya is presently in custody, assisting with the investigations. A post-mortem examination is expected to be carried out on the body to ascertain the exact cause of death. Persons with information that can assist with this investigation are encouraged to contact the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of operations at telephone number 1784-4561-339, the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department at telephone number 1784-4561-810, or any police station or police officer you are comfortable with. All information received would be treated confidentially. And an 11-year-old boy of Lanley Park, Georgetown, has been left in a coma after reportedly being struck by a motor vehicle while riding his bicycle on the main road on Sunday night. Reports are that Cruz Loman was riding his bicycle, and as he attempted to exit a gap onto the main road, he was struck by a motor vehicle which at the time was trying to overtake another vehicle. The young boy was rushed to the Georgetown Medical Complex and was then transferred to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he is said to be in a comatose state. The incident is under police investigation.